And welcome to the We Like Sportz Show. I'm your host, Ed in Columbus. Welcome back to another week. We're having a spectacular show. We're going to have a great guest on shortly. But as you can see, I got my Cleveland Browns stuff on. Really, really happy about my Brownies getting a big win against the San Francisco 49ers yesterday. That was a great game, and I'm just really, really excited that the season we're 3-2 and we're feeling it. But I think before we get started here, we always have to take care of the housekeeping. I always got to take care of the housekeeping. Peyton Vince will get really mad at me if I don't. So I just want to ask everybody: do you want an energy drink that you can mix at home that doesn't give you the jitters or make you crash? If so, then try Dubby. They have products with no calories, no sugar, no mecodextrin, no fillers, no artificial colors. Dubby has great flavors such as Dragonade, Galaxy Grenade, Beach and Peach, and Dub Sludge. Head on over to Dubby.gg and use the coupon code We Like Sportz to get 10% off your order. Our friends at Dubby offer clean energy to help you be better. So want to say that, go over ahead and get Dubby. But we have a special guest. I see that he's just hopped on. Want to get everybody out there. What's up, my guy, Mr. PEC-Tacular himself? How's it going?
Boom. I'm just making it work. Look at this lighting.
Oh, look at that. I see you got the OVW championship behind you. Two-time champion, current champion. Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's not too bad, right? The national OVW.
National. My bad. I apologize, Mr. PEC-Tacular. National.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful day out. It's a good day to be PEC-Tacular.
Absolutely. I was going to put in my thing, Ed in Columbus, I was going to put Ed-Tacular, but I don't think when you flex like that, I'm glad I didn't, because I don't want to be a fraud here.
Awesome. No, you definitely should have. Everybody can be a little bit PEC-Tacular. You just got to believe in yourself. Absolutely.
Oh, I love that. Good message. But you're on here because there is something on Netflix right now that's taken over, a docu-series called Wrestlers, and you're at the forefront of it, I must say, and it's kind of taken over. I've been streaming it. It's been some good entertainment, some good sports entertainment right there. And we all know, you're the champion. You got the belt behind you. But talk a little bit about that and how that experience has gone for you, and how you want to promote it, because this is your time to shine, my guy.
Awesome. Well, I think everybody, first and foremost, thanks for watching it. I'm sure what I love to say is just give it a chance. It's not just, as you can probably attest, it's not just wrestling. Right. It's not just punches and kicks and this, that, and the other thing. Everybody thinks that we're just jumping on a trampoline and bouncing off of each other inside there. First and foremost, this stuff hurts. Absolutely, this stuff hurts. But if there's just a casual viewer, if there's, men, women, and children can actually watch this. And what I'm getting at is I actually am going to propose a challenge. Ooh. A challenge to any and all viewers, that if you can only, it's like a Kit Kat, you can only just eat one. Or what's the candy where you you try to tempt people just to only eat one?
Well, I know with the Pringles, once you pop,
Pringles,
you can't stop.
There it is. Something like that. But just watch one episode. That's all I ask. Just watch one episode. And if you absolutely just attest it, just hate it, passionately hate it without a shadow of a doubt, like you wish you had that 60 minutes of your time back, I will let you punch me in the face. Go ahead. But Ed, do you really think, if you were a betting man, I mean, we're batting 1,000 here. We're batting 1,000.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I got hooked on it, and I think one thing with Netflix series, and Greg Whiteley is the guy that did Cheer. My daughter's a cheerleader; she's a senior, and and that was a great series with them. And I think that he's done a great job with Wrestlers as well. So yeah, I definitely think that we're batting 1,000 on it. I think your beautiful face, you wouldn't have to worry about getting hit by it. But I'll say one thing though, I'd be afraid to hit you, because I don't want to be putting that Adonis crab thing that you do. I want to keep my back kind of, There
you go. Keep your back where it is. No, absolutely. I think you nailed it. Like, Greg Whiteley has done just an absolutely phenomenal job. Like, from the bottom of my heart, like, I think everybody shares the same sentiment over at the OVW roster and inside the building. Like, everybody from the production crew, Al Snow says it just over and over and over again. We're over the moon about what Greg's been able to do for us. And I know I'm trying to make a joke about it, but simply put, there is no joke about this show. Like, you get to see from us being characters inside the ring to literally lighting the curtain on fire, going backstage, changing, getting in our car, and you're coming home with us. You know, you get to see the real trials and tribulations and the ups and downs and the financial struggles, the relationship struggles, and the fact that our dream hasn't died yet. You know, there's a lot of people that already are dead because they've given up on the dreams that they actually want. Like you, I'm assuming you love doing this, and that's why you continue to wake up and be able to put yourself through it. And it's taxing. And if you didn't love it, a lot of people would already quit, and that's exactly what happens. But with this show, you get to see all of this. You get to see the underbelly. We show our belly, we show our tail a little bit. Because the good, bad, and the ugly, like there's something for everybody inside this show. And that's why I say, man, woman, or child, you're going to be able to see something that resonates and can elicit a true emotion out of you as a viewer and a casual viewer as well. Like if you like reality television, this is a docuseries. This is 100% real. This isn't scripted. This isn't us going backstage and cutting promos more and more and more. Like you can see that aspect of it, but it's a little bleep. Yes, you get a taste of it. There's a lot of real world stuff. And this is people that are in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, you know, and life as it compounded. And you get to see the aftermath of it. You know, you get to see these guys that I get to bump elbows with that, like, to be completely honest with you, is probably with our TV product and what Al's been able to kind of showcase at OVW, it's next level. Like the storylines that we have and the actual genuine product, like we've sold out the last 4 weeks straight.
Wow.
And that's just because people now know about us. You know, there's people that were coming in from like Colorado, New York, New Jersey, coming up from Atlanta, all over, come to Louisville, Kentucky to watch our show. Like we've already sold out the tickets. I think we're like 3 weeks in advance for the pay-per-view that we have on October 21st. Like it's outstanding. Like the true magnitude of how much Netflix as a whole, as a platform, has helped, you know, everybody top to bottom inside the card has been outstanding. And like without a shadow of a doubt, if you love binge watching shows on the weekend,
I do. I'm guilty.
Just check it out. And that's why I say, please just check it out. One episode, just one. And I guarantee you'll be like, it's only 11 o'clock. Maybe I can squeeze one more. And then you can kind of go and take off to the races after that.
Well, like to your point, like you said, it shows everything. And I'll say one thing, whether it's wrestling, whether it's cornhole, whether it's this, you know, one thing about the Netflix docuseries is, you know, it makes you, you know, the viewer, you know, get to know you guys. You know what I'm saying? Get you know, have you kind of get that interpersonal kind of relationship with you guys where, you know, either you like the guy, you hate the guy, but you want to see what happens next. And then you see the aspects of their life. And then you realize the one thing, you know, whether your job is a garbage man, you're an auditor, you're this or that or whatever. It's like we all all have to wake up in the morning. We all have to go through the trials and tribulations of the day. And we all have dreams and aspirations. And I think the show is great for showing that. It just so happens that you guys get to do great things in wrestling. And I'll be honest with you, you know, it's one thing, you know, be a baseball player, a football player, this or that. But everybody, when they're growing up and they see the wrestling ring, you know, they wanted to be that guy. And I wanted to ask you, who was your idol growing up in wrestling? Who do you love? Who's your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers?
Oh, wow. You just gave me the chills. I know you can't see it, but that was beautiful because it's sincerely very true. The Mount Rushmore. I'm a body guy. So,
okay.
Yeah. So when it comes to obviously character and things like that, there's a couple of different people that are very influential, especially like now in my life as well. But obviously like Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like these guys. I mean, and there's a couple other people for other reasons. Obviously, The Rock has done just a phenomenal job. I look up to people such as The Miz. I know I'm kind of taking.
You know what? I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I love The Miz.
Awesome. Yeah. And these guys are absolutely phenomenal, you know, and everybody's respected in their own right because they became and come into their own. And that's the biggest thing. Like Hulk Hogan, I've heard on a couple things or a couple different interviews. He's like, man, to be completely honest with you, like when a light bulb actually clicked is when I stopped doing wrestling moves and all I did was like look up. And it gave time for the people to actually be involved in their match. You know,
Yes.
That's when The Rock does the same thing. Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm a huge Chris Jericho Like,
Oh, the walls of Jericho. Okay.
yeah, no, exactly. Kind of odd that it's similar to the Adonis crab, if you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
But like these guys, and the fact that Chris Jericho has been able to reinvent himself over and over and over again. The other person that I look up to quite a bit is also Matt Hardy. Because
Oh,
different
yes.
phases of his life, he's done a phenomenal job. And the longevity of his actual career is just outstanding. And being able to, like, literally, you can see him reinvent himself in multiple different stages of his career, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. And that in and of itself, I respect and just admire as a profession. Because once you're a quarterback, you're a quarterback. Once you're the second,
Yes.
unless you're Mookie Betts, like
Okay. Yeah.
talk about a utility player, like,
Yep.
oh, geez. But anyway, like, there's other people that once you get in that niche, like, that's it. You kind of pigeonhole yourself and you're just that guy, and like you really can't come out of that shell unless somehow.
Well, I'm glad you said that about longevity, because I feel like, I won't say your age unless you want to, because you don't look a day over 25, but I know how old you are. I won't say it unless I don't want to get put in the Adonis crab, but I will say one thing, the longevity of wrestlers nowadays, what used to be considered old isn't old anymore. And you can have that longer wrestling career. I think that's really cool. And I think maybe obviously with the nutrition and everything that you guys do, because I know one thing, you were the youngest bodybuilder at the age of 20 in the nation. I do know that.
Yes, through the WNBF. So I turned pro in the NANBF, which is North American Natural Bodybuilding Federation, and then turned pro at becoming that in the WNBF, which is World Natural Bodybuilding Federation. And that's obviously that going into Big Brother and then having that stint and stuff.
Yeah.
Everything just continued to build on the last thing that I did. But yes, you're absolutely right. Thank you. Look at this guy. Did some research.
I did my homework, and we'll go into Big Brother. I love Big Brother. Me and my wife, we watch it all the time, so we know about your shows and everything. I've known about you for a while now, and it's funny. And also, we won't get into the Young and the Restless, because I saw you on there as a bouncer, and you let the guy through because he threw. I saw that. You should have gave him the Adonis crab, but obviously,
just press him over my head and shoot him into another scene.
Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't need to talk to Mr. PEC-Tacular that way. That's but awesome. Yeah, I'll say this too about wrestling. It is just like anything now. I look at athletes in the NFL or Major League Baseball. You really have to be an entertainer to really get your brand to be a part. I think that with social media and with everything, I think the way that you do it is, you market it. I think you understand that it's more than just the wrestling aspect. You really have to build your brand when it comes to, to being successful. So when you market yourself, do you look at like, okay, you with me?
Yes.
We had some technical difficulties. I don't know what went on, but I apologize for that.
Okay, no worries.
I appreciate you standing by. Now, I got a question for you. Are you in Rudd, Iowa?
That's where I moved to later on in life. Yes. So I was born in Mason City, Iowa, and then we ended up
Okay.
in Iowa. Yeah.
Shout out to the 358 citizens of Broad. I know they're all tuning in right now.
Oh my goodness. We have our city slogan, Rudd's. I think the sign says "Not bigger, just better." Like that's our city or town. I don't know. But yeah, Rudd, it's the best. We have one stop sign. It's to make sure you slow down going over the railroad tracks.
Okay, fair
It's
enough.
beautiful. There's no stop lights, just one stop sign. Yeah.
Okay. Now,
It's
I wanted to play a fun game with you.
got it.
Where I'm going to name the wrestlers of wrestlers, and then you give me a one-word answer to either how you feel about them, what you think, just kind of anything.
You got it.
Cash flow.
Monster.
Freya the Slayer.
Amazing.
Hollywood Haley J.
Talented.
Amazing Maria James.
I was gonna say vivacious, but
nice.
Yeah, we'll just stick with that.
Okay. The Indian Mahabala Shari.
I could say friend personally, but we'll say lion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it does mean lion. Yeah, Big Brother Lion. It does mean that. Al Snow.
Personally, mentor.
Yeah.
Owner, clairvoyant, savant, whatever. Genius, head trainer. I'd like just the man. Yeah, great.
Yeah. Literally head trainer.
Yeah, head. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
And then maybe you won't say anything nice about this guy. We'll find Matt Jones.
Businessman.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I respect him to no end because I completely understand. I've owned a handful of businesses and it's not easy. And I 100% understand where he's coming from. And I think that came through very eloquently through the show.
I get in trouble all the time because I get so entranced with the guests if I don't throw him. But tell him I said hi, Cody. He says hi back. There you go. Oh, you are the man. Question now. I saw the other day you tweeted this out, and I will say one thing. I am a little bit of a diva. I say this all the time. God loves those that love themselves. I truly believe that.
Yes, he gave with both hands when he came to me.
So if you don't follow me back on X or Twitter, I will cry. I will I will eventually go to an OVW show, and I will challenge you in a match.
Bring it on. I almost want to not. Maybe I should. Yeah.
The 12-inch pythons, brother, will come after you.
That's awesome.
But I saw. Okay, so the other day you tweeted this out, and I thought this was awesome. And I actually went to the point in the YouTube clip, but it was at Impact. And if you want to talk about this was one of your biggest moments. And I always feel like, the human connection, and you tweeted this out. Talk to us about that because you were introduced, and that was your first show with Tara. And I just kind of explained to the audience how that made you feel and what it means to you now, because obviously it meant something because you tweeted it out. And I want that personal kind of thing coming out. I want the audience to feel that.
I had one job, like literally get to the ring, pick her up and have a moment, and it was so loud. And to be completely honest with you, like I just tried to do what I was there to do. And it was so overwhelming because I've never been exposed to anything like that. At OVW, I've routinely get the chills. And like, that's why I continue doing, for the lack of better words, we're like rock stars and we continue chasing the dragon. But like that dragon was so big and so overwhelming. Like it was almost like numbing where I felt like I was in a haze. Like I'm almost just like in a daze walking out there. I don't really remember anything else. It was almost like in X-Men where Professor X, or Xavier is going out, I forget what that's called inside that dome.
Yeah.
Going out. Like I had one job, walk down the ramp, go straight into the ring and embrace my girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we did all that, and like, luckily I could just focus on one thing and go down there, but it was just surreal. It was absolutely surreal. And like watching it back, knowing how many people were actually there and involved, it was, I mean, it was for the lack of better words, like a dream come true. It's me debuting. It was a moment that I wanted to kind of relish in, and it was just so overwhelming. Like I can now, and I know what I felt when I went out there. It was probably just so nervous. You don't think you're nervous, but when you
Right.
remember anything and you can't like see and actually absorb anything else, like granted a little bit, add a couple more years or a couple decades to people when it comes to their career and stuff, and it can be seasoned and you can actually enjoy that moment. But yeah, it was definitely overwhelming, 100%.
Well, we do share something. Now, my birthday is March 26th. Okay.
Okay.
And I believe on March 26, 2010, you debuted for your wrestling. So in your
Nice.
first, yeah. So that was big because, 2-time current champion, you're 1-time television champion, 7-time Southern Tag Team Champion. I mean, you've done it all. You've been there, and you know what I'm saying. So you've had a long career, and it's even flourishing even more now. Which, that's the one thing I'll say about wrestling. I think that back in the day, it's like, okay, you have a career, and you kind of can tell within the first couple of years, but you've kind of reinvented yourself. You with the Bromans, you've been around and you've done a lot, and then you mix it up with your Big Brother experience and stuff like that. I mean, you are the complete package. You are an A-lister. I mean, so I think that's the greatest thing about wrestling and what you're trying to do is, it kind of I kind of look at it as kind of like Miz-like. And I love the Miz. He's from Cleveland, Ohio. I think that he's done it right. And if you look at wrestling, the body types, like you're right. Like you're listed as 5'10" as your build. You know what I'm saying? You have that kind of Miz-like resemblance. And so I hope that, you go even farther than what you are right now. Because, I got a question. So you are the champion right now. I mean, the longevity, you want to keep that title, right? You hold that, you sleep with that at night. You hold that near and dear, right?
Yes, we keep it close. We keep it close. Always always within arm's reach. Absolutely. Yes, and I've definitely been able to hold it for the longest there at OVW, and I definitely plan on my entire tenure obviously holding it, unless Al has some sort of other plans where he's going to have a bigger mountain of a man than myself, as you obviously just described. It's not easy though, because there's a ton of talented individuals on the roster. You touch base on Cash Flow, Jack Vaughn, Eric Darkstorm's there, Mahabali Shira, like you were saying. The Indian Lion is just a mountain of a man. There's a bunch of tag teams, the Outrunners that could split off, Luscious Lawrence, there's Omar Amir, I mean, even Cal Hero, Tony Gunn. These guys, it's beautiful because of Al's stories that we're actually telling at OVW, which is captivating individuals. We even have guys such as EC3 that we're in a huge storyline with now, and I think it's got legs. I definitely think it's being able to captivate other people's attention. I mean, Dixie Carter came in and she said, hey, like, she's one of the reasons why I even have a career, mind you. First and foremost, like, you can be as good as you want. If people don't know about you, or if other, literally the owners of the companies don't take a chance on you, like, I don't think people understand that. Like, you could be as great as you want, but if owners don't feel as though they're going to be able to make money off of you,
right?
We are our own brand. You touched base on it before, like, hey, with the social media, it's such a multifaceted career decision. Like, you have to cross all your T's and dot all your I's and make sure you're firing on all cylinders, because you have to be a complete package going to whatever organization, which is why I love OVW, because Al's vision and my vision are exactly in line, and I have no problem like being at OVW. I love it because like it's been able to be elevated with wrestlers. It's undeniable, and you have to be good enough to stay at the top, throughout your entire tenure, which is what I'm obviously.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because to us average Joes out here with regular jobs per se, you have to feel good at a job. You have to feel like you're valued. You have to have that, the security of feeling and more, what I'm saying. And I feel like that's what's coming out with what you're saying right now. Even though you're wrestling per se compared to what I'm doing in my job, and it's still a job. It's still what you have to do to feed your family and everything. And also it's your career as well. And and it's one aspect of the total package that is Mr. PEC-Tacular.
Yes. No,
You
and
know,
you're 100% right. And these other guys and girls that are coming in, wherever they're at on the card, like they definitely know that they're one chance away from being at the top, like, or one mistake from somebody that's ahead of them from being able to take their spot. And I think a lot of other people don't realize that, because in the real world too, like, managers make mistakes as well. Granted, they might point fingers and this, that, and the other thing. You can't point the finger at anybody but yourself when you're on live television. It's like you, yourself, and I when the dust settles. So you're absolutely right.
Speaking of that, we have a question. What has been your biggest mistake during a live show, whether the TV or in-house? Is there something you remember, like I did this wrong, but I saved it, or you just? I mean, the audience might not know because you don't say, but you did it.
That's the beauty of it, because I mean, there's things. It's a destination. You're trying to get at the end of the day, as long as the business that you're trying to get over, whatever that may be, as long as that comes across on television before we go off air, you're fine. You're absolutely right. So to say that there's mistakes, like I know that I made a mistake personally when the experience and actual situation jumps into my head when I was literally just laying the boots to Kip Sop up at WFX up in Winnipeg, Canada. And I'm just sitting here booting him and I'm holding onto the top rope. And as I'm just being because all we do is pantomiming motions, you know what I mean? And like make things larger than life for the people that are in the 300s. So when people are inside these arenas, inside these studios, inside these buildings, we want to make sure that everybody gets a show. And I literally dislocated my own shoulder by having my hands up on top of the rope and just violently booting Kip Sop down on the ground. I don't even know what he's saying. I don't know what I'm just laying the boots to him. And all of a sudden I dislocate my own shoulder just for one. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And it just stopped me dead in my tracks, because like, you can't really do too much when you dislocate your shoulder. So I rolled out, and luckily I was able to take care of it all, and it was fine. Like, unfortunately, it happened quite a bit. Anybody that's dislocated shoulders knows that somehow it actually routinely happens at the most inopportune moment, and that I remember. So, but otherwise, like you said, nobody knows unless you tell them.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it right there, and I couldn't imagine, like,
Yes.
Your pecs are too big. Maybe that's the problem.
You would think I just kept doing shoulders and back and chest to make sure that I kept, protected my shoulders with enough muscle mass. Absolutely. But when I was amateur wrestling in high school, I dislocated both my shoulders just way too often when people would sprawl out and stuff. And yeah, it's just been a trip ever since, for sure.
And I have to be honest, I have to bring up Big Brother because my wife would kill me if I didn't. So you're on season 10, okay? You win the power veto the first week. You get the head of household. Dan, that was the season of Dan right there, who later on would, come back from his own funeral and everything. But I got to, and then you come back in season 11, you go 40 days on there because you're in the athlete clique or whatever like that. But Jordan, who we all know, Jordan won that when she gets married and has a great life and all that stuff. But what's it like to be, Big Brother alum? And do you talk to any of those people and everything still, or any friendships that you formed?
I keep up with them through social media. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's just everybody. It's like high school. You keep up with who you want to, you know what I mean? That's all it is. Our paths crossed in one point in time. And absolutely. And there's great people, Jeff's a great guy. And I think you touched base on that with him and Jordan. Obviously, I voted for Jordan to win. So kudos to both of them. I know I think he's out in Colorado and he's on like the Daily Blast Live and stuff.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yep. And then there's a handful of other people I keep up with, and actually people from other seasons, which is even funnier because like people that are on your season, like for whatever reason in the back of your mind, you must just think like, oh God, they hosed me out.
Well, they tried to get rid of you. I mean,
exactly. So it's really hard to like be friendly.
Yes,
there's a lot of people from, especially there's a lot of cross-pollination when it comes to reality television. Stars, if you will.
Right. No, you are a star. Hey, you are a star. You are a star.
Awesome. But yeah, I keep up with who I want to, especially on social media and stuff like that.
That's awesome. I mean, like I said, I know also too, like, going back to the wrestling, because you also made a declaration, which I think is really cool. And I wanted to kind of get your vision of it, because you want OVW. You said you wanted to be the third main alternate to WW and AEW. I think that is a good goal to have. I think you guys with the Neflix wrestlers, I think you're on your way there. And I think, so let our audience know, like, why should it be? I mean, I think it should be you, but, sell yourself, sell OVW, because like I said, I think it's a great product. I think, the Neflix special, I think it's just enhanced, everybody's eyes on your product. And I think hopefully more people, and I applaud, and I want people to go out and check out the product live, because I think that's where it's going to be the next big thing here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's literally because of our storylines. Like the TV product has to, once we get the eyes on us, it's not like we sold out 1 week and people stopped coming. Like we've routinely now sold out for the last 4 weeks, and we already have our pay-per-view this coming Saturday already sold out. And the reason why I say that is, like, it's up to us to drop the ball. And with the actual product, when it comes to professional wrestling and the actual product that we have, I mean, it literally, you can put it up there against anybody else.
I agree.
And it's a testament, our actual attendance, granted, we need to continue growing in size when it comes to the buildings that we're in. I'm not trying to get too big for my britches, but to say that we can't move on to a different, like, we're literally turning people away at the doors that are driving to come and pay their own hard-earned money to buy a ticket to sit in the audience and watch us. So absolutely, we're on pace to be able to do that. I mean, it's a family-oriented show.
Yes.
It's not like people can't enjoy it from all ages that are still the casual viewer that's on Netflix, and that's just and Netflix wrestlers is just such a launching pad for showing, like, turning over the rock and saying, hey, we're down here, and we're the little engine that could, as far as I'm concerned, just like Hash actually mentioned inside the show.
Yep.
We just needed that chance. We needed the eyes on us, and now we've been able to keep them, and everybody's fighting for eyeballs.
Yes.
Yes. Every platform. It doesn't matter what.
That's why I have you on here. I'm fighting for eyeballs. I'm doing this.
No, I got you. But it appeals to everybody. You know what I mean? And to say that we can't be in the same, like, vein as those big powerhouses and stuff, like, granted, we don't have I'm not saying we have the budget and the billions of dollars that those companies are. I'm saying watch the TV product for what it is. There's a reason why different shows on, again, hypothetically say Netflix, take off, because it's true and it's raw and it's real. And it's like, now you got a beautiful window inside our lives, and here you're getting to see our actual product that we put out. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, they got stars like you, because I know you on The Price is Right as well. How good did you do on that? How good?
I got to take my shirt off, and I got to wear old Jessie. That was a beautiful. I can't, seriously, that was awesome. I loved, out of all the things I've ever been able to do, that has to be literally top tier, like top shelf, one of the best experiences of my life. Much smaller than I thought. The studio was substantially smaller, but it was awesome. And I was in there with a bunch of, Big Brother alumni too. And everybody.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was awesome.
That's cool. Like I said, do you ever find like, even me being on these podcasts, and, my family always jokes around, like, I'm Ed, but then I'm Ed in Columbus. I can throw up my hands. That's my claim to fame, is I can spell my name. Okay. I can spell my name. That's my claim to fame. But do you ever find yourself, okay, you're Mr. PEC-Tacular, but, is it sometimes, that dichotomy of, okay, now I got to turn it off and turn it on, or just, you seem like I'll say this, for a handsome, good looking dude that's been on a bunch of TV, and like I said, they don't put ugly people on TV. Okay. So they got you on there. So obviously, what I'm saying? So what's that like? Because you don't seem like you're, I don't know, like a narcissist or this. Like, you may play one. I'm not saying that you don't play one. And another thing too, you got your legs work, right? Why do you got to segue? What do you segue into the ring for?
Well,
what's going on there?
Okay, let's unpack. That was a lot. That was a lot. So I'm from a small town, like you said, Rudd, Iowa. Absolutely. I was a big fish in a small pond, or at least I was the fish in the pond. Moved out to California, definitely humbled. Everybody had abs. Outstanding. Got on reality television, parlayed that into that fame and notoriety into professional wrestling, because I took, much like what you said, my previous career, which was bodybuilding, coupled that with the fame, and said, hey, let's try and pursue a dream that, much like you started in the beginning of this conversation, everybody has. Everybody loves professional wrestling at some aspect, some point in their life. Absolutely. They're just like, what are these action figures in the toy aisle? And they're like, wait, this is a real person. This isn't just Black Panther or Thor or, Iron Man or da-da-da-da. This is like actual guy that's on television. I wanted to be that guy, 1,000%. But I know that I'm halfway decent, good looking. No, I'm just kidding.
you're
I get to wear my profession on my pecs, and I don't know if you can see it through this.
I see.
I mean, if you really look at the ratio, this is in real time. This is a video of my arms compared to my head, and everybody thinks my head is big. So that's just the standard. I don't want to put like a silver dollar up here, but it'd be tiny. My point is, it is tough. The reason why you brought up the Segway is once you use a Segway, this isn't a hoverboard, by the way. That's not one of these little cheapy, hey, let's get this off of wish.com and see what happens here. And the battery life probably lasts, a couple hours.
Right.
Premium Segway material. I'm just letting you know, once you ride on one of these, you probably, when you look at people that walk, you think of them as almost less than. I know. And I don't want to burn calories anyways. You've seen the abs.
Yeah.
Keep up the caloric intake. It's tough. It's boring, but it's part of my life. There's a lot of calculations that go
what's your kryptonite? So if I put if I made you eat cheesecake, would you just die or what?
I love cheesecake.
Oh, good. Okay.
You have to be able to train hard enough that you can still spoil yourself in a couple different fast.
So what's your number one sport? What's your number one food that you're like, I got to have this no matter what? I worked hard for it. I need it now.
There's a multitude of things, but I'll narrow. Cheesecake would be one of them. Reese's peanut butter cups.
Those are my favorite.
I love Doritos. Love Doritos. Trying to stay away from Red 40 for other reasons we don't need to get into. But golly, I tell you what, Doritos. Anything that's crunchy is pretty. I love. So like there's so many sweets. Honestly.
You have your pay-per-view coming up, but it's also spooky season. You doing anything cool for Halloween?
Yeah, we're just trying to keep all the little kids and kiddos. We're trying to keep everybody happy. That in and of itself, as a dad, is by far the best job in the world and the most demanding.
Yes, because
that is where the world gets real and life gets real. So that is my number one goal, is to keep smiles on faces. So that whatever that looks like, I don't know how many outfits we're gonna have to get for everybody. I think we have to get a couple.
Okay.
But that's what I'm trying to do. Me dressing up. I always dress up. Like I'm in my wrestling gear. People take it for what it is. Take it or leave it.
Well, I know what I want to be for Halloween. I want to be Mr. PEC-Tacular now. The only problem is I don't have that. I don't have the pecs that you got. I only got a couple weeks left. What do you suggest that I can do in the meantime?
You know how they have those sleeve tattoos that you can get on Amazon?
Yeah.
Maybe you can just get either a full body unitard with muscles or some sort of inflatable, like the sumo wrestler outfits that you can have like the competitions with, and you kind of bounce across one another. Maybe we can do something like that. That'll be a little bit harder to get. I don't know if you'll be able to get that. Maybe those little plastic ones at Walmart or Target. Yeah, but if there's a will, there's a way. Don't give up.
That's true. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I appreciate save it up a little bit. I couldn't.
I do. I admit. I do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I couldn't grow that if my life depended on it.
That's a good thing. You know what? When I was little, I was like, oh, I want, when you're in high, you want it. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And then you get older, you're like, I don't want this anymore. Now I have it. I'm just lazy. I'm just like, my Browns got a big victory over the 49ers yesterday. I've been celebrating. I was going to take the, shave, but it's good luck that they won. So I'm going to leave it alone, I think.
Oh, wow. Kudos to them. I wish I had time to watch football. I wish I had.
Well, I know. I was going to ask you real quickly, like sports wise, are you a big baseball, football, but like who's your teams?
I love baseball. I sincerely do. Like the fact of being able, I wish Clayton Kershaw would actually show up during the playoffs. No offense to him, because he's just outstanding individual. Not saying anything like Mookie. I just don't understand how you can have Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman 1-2, and then they just have the most atrocious batting in the playoffs. I don't understand.
Oh, you're a Dodgers fan.
Yes. And it was, I love going to baseball games literally 1 or 2 innings after they already start, because you can get tickets for $8. It's the parking that costs $50 when you're going to Dodger Stadium. But when you have 50,000 people inside there, it's just insanity. So if anybody ever gets the opportunity to go to Dodger Stadium, please go. Definitely go. 100% go. I'd love the Dodgers. I used to be a player fan. Peyton Manning, best quarterback of all time. Hated Tom Brady. Then Tom Brady went down to the Buccaneers and did what he did. And I'm just like, well, I do not have a leg to stand on. He might just be what everybody says.
Yeah.
Tried to tell me that he was.
He's not as good looking as you, though.
I actually have on my Instagram, I go, these two people are champions, and it's me with my title and him like in a pair of swimming trunks, and I'm just like, choose your avatar if you're going to, but like, no, like hats off to that guy. I sincerely love baseball and football, respect everything that those guys do. It's insanity that like the shows that they put on, come Sunday.
You have to pick either Iowa or Iowa State. Who are you choosing?
Ooh, I have literally zero allegiance to either one of them. Okay. Coincidentally enough, like I went to a JUCO school up in Mason City, but I mean, I guess Iowa. I mean, it's a little bit more fun to watch them. I again just literally no allegiance, and that's sad because I'm probably one of the only people that can actually say that. But that's a great question, well, and one of the only times I've ever been asked that too, by the way. So that's
okay.
Yeah, and you know how old I am, so.
What do you think about? What do you think about caucuses?
Iowa caucus?
Yeah, Iowa caucuses. What do you think about caucuses? Now everybody else has primaries, but you have caucuses in Iowa. What do you think about that?
And we get to, so it's like we're the first state, right?
Yeah, first state. Yeah.
I mean, I just recently came back to the state of Iowa, so you'll see what happens.
Would you win the Iowa caucuses? You went around because they're all at the Iowa State Fair, eating the fried Snickers and all these other, stuff that you probably don't eat in your normal diet. But I think you could kiss babies and get plenty of votes.
And I'm a man of the people, so I would definitely eat one too, just to show them that I would eat one. You know what I mean? And then we'll just go from there. But no, I love all things Iowa. Like Southeast Iowa I'm from Northern Iowa, and I know that this, is just not resonating with everybody, but Northern Iowa and Southeast Iowa is like New York and LA. It's completely different, and I did not realize it, and it's it really is. And I've lived in New York for a short stint. I've lived down in Orange County in California for years. I've lived in Kissimmee, Florida, which Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, Kissimmee, yep.
Yep. So, and then in Louisville, obviously, in Greenville, South Carolina for a year and stuff. So I've lived all over the country. Iowa's is pretty happening. So,
well, like I said, I love the Midwest, being Ohio, and I'm originally from Cleveland, but I live in Columbus, graduated from the Ohio State University. So I'm glad that you said Iowa. So, but I think Midwest people, we have traditional values. We're good people, not as all good looking as you are, but we try.
No, you're selling yourself short. All you got to do is just do a couple peck pops, maybe throw up the Ed sign a couple times.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
everybody could do that. You'd be a great, you could be, Ed the Destroyer. How's that sound? We have to have.
I like. Okay.
Yes. See, exactly. What is it? Was the dog pound over there, or what's going on?
Dog pound. Yep. Dog pound.
See. So maybe I don't even Ed the dog pound. I don't know. We could figure something out. The biggest thing.
We'll talk to Al. We'll talk to Al. We'll get me on the card here, and we'll get going. I mean, I look at the wrestlers, and I don't want to go against you right away. I think because I got to get a couple matches in, but I look at the roster, and there isn't anybody easy here.
No, and then even Joe Mack, like that fool's like 6'6", 6'7", and then Luke Curtis, and those guys are the tag champions right now. And no, it's there's some guys on here. There's some guys.
Well, then you know what? I'm just going to go straight for your belt then. I'm going straight for Mr. PEC-Tacular. Check it out. Someday it's going down.
Well, a lot of people have tried and all have failed. And I'm just letting you know, Elijah Burke, James Storm, there's been a handful. Chris Masters, like these guys are and we'll see what happens with EC3.
Well, I'll get you in the ring and then I'll steal your segue and get out of there.
There you go. Now you have a segue. I mean, it's a premium.
Yeah, because I don't want to have the Adonis crab put on me. I'll tell you that. Yeah, I don't want that either.
As long as when people look at me and they're like, man, I bet it hurts if he throws a punch, then we're golden. Once people are just like, nah, I think I could take him, that's when I'm going to just call it quits.
Now, I want to know the honest truth. We all know wrestling, like how it hurt. How bad does it hurt? Because it hurts, doesn't it? Some of that stuff hurts. I mean, I hear it and people are like, oh, the ring. I don't think there's much give to the ring as what people think there is.
No,
I didn't. Yeah.
Not many people know that it's 2x20s or 2x16s or 2x18s. On top of literally bars of steel. So no, it's definitely not. And then, I mean, you have a yoga mat to kind of land on. And I think everybody, like I said, everybody believes it's just a trampoline.
Right. It's not.
It's definitely not. Like, they are relating it to like car crashes on a nightly basis, and that sort of thing. So you definitely have to be a professional. Don't ever try it. Definitely get trained. Yeah,
I'm very dainty. I won't. Very
yeah,
dainty.
don't get in a car crash. I definitely do not suggest that for anybody. But no, it's definitely physically demanding, absolutely. And then you still have to be able to walk, talk, and act like a professional wrestler afterwards too.
Every time you open your beautiful mouth, I think of another question. And I was thinking about this, like, just like pairs figure skating and when you're wrestling with somebody, how in sync, like, I mean, it does it take time? Like, how good are you with syncing up and with the moves and everything? Because you can get really, really, really hurt here and knowing what I'm saying and all that. How is it with you? Like, the practice time, I'm saying, do you exchange gifts beforehand and say, hey, please don't hurt me? How does that work?
No, I mean, granted, the only thing in professional wrestling that is predetermined is the finish.
Right.
We have to make sure that we take people on a ride through the entire thing, and have a commercial break and make sure that it's entertaining the entire way through. So everything is the psychology. It's beautiful. So the psychology of professional wrestling is just outstanding. And the people that are good because they suspend your disbelief throughout the entire thing. And they don't disrespect your mind,
Right.
and them being able to be so fluid inside the ring. It's art. I mean, it's literally
absolutely
emotion. And again, the chemistry is paired up with whoever your opponent is. I can't go out there and wrestle a broomstick. You know what I mean? It's not going to be very entertaining.
I'd probably be close to one.
No, I'm not saying physical stature, but yeah, no, I'm just, you definitely know who a pro is, the more involved in their character you are, because again, you're watching it for that. That's exactly what you're watching it for. And I sincerely love it. So it's the best.
You have been the best. Like I said, where you tap out whenever you want, because I'm going to keep asking questions until you can't. You know what I'm saying? Because I love this, but I'm always fascinated because like you said, being a child and you grow up and you watch wrestling, and like it's just one of those things, and you're living that dream, and take me from the time that you're a young child, because I know at 19, for instance, that you worked on the Union Pacific Railroad. Is that?
Yeah.
How did you do that? I saw that, and I'm like, I have to ask. If I don't ask about this, you're an Iowa boy. How long did you do that for? And any experience that you want to share about that job?
It was eye-opening, and it was crazy because my parents combined made, roughly $40,000 a year. I grew up in Rudd, Iowa, and you said like to the tune of like 350 people. My high school had, I think I graduated with 54 people in my senior class, and that was 3 towns put together. When I started into the railroad, though, I was doing it as a summer job and then realized like it's a career. So
yeah.
Crazy as that is, I mean, it's like being a fireman, working for the post office. We had better actual retirement.
Yeah, like the benefits were really good. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, we were paying into 2 different retirement tiers. It was union. Like, I was set. Like, it was crazy. I was 19 years old making, $80,000-$90,000 a year. Wow. But me, I just thought I didn't have any concept of money whatsoever at that point in my life. I had zero. I was working with guys or families that were working on their second families because the railroad tore them apart because they were working so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I spent an exorbitant amount of money on my 20th birthday, and
I'm sure that was fun.
Yeah, bought a car and all this stuff. And it was because of that, but it was because of that job I was able to move out to California as well. So, and then I was still 3-4 months later getting phone calls from the railroad because I was union and I couldn't get fired. So they were still calling.
Oh, that's right. They're still fighting.
Yeah. So, but that profession of working for the railroad helped cultivate an environment for me to be a professional bodybuilder, because it was union. I could stop at any time, and I was just eating whenever I wanted to. I was literally like throwing rail cars and snow drifts, stopping, going inside, eating my meal, and nobody could tell me otherwise because I could take a break whenever I wanted as long as the work got done. It was a crazy part of my life. And looking back on it, like had I stayed there for like another 6 months, I'd be making, engineer pay, which is like $125,000 a year and stuff like that. But again, at 19 years old, but being the most professional bodybuilder in the country, I knew I had to mean something to somebody somewhere. Mm-hmm. And in Mason City, Iowa, I couldn't even get a free gym membership, so I moved to California.
Just think about this. You're Mr. PEC-Tacular. You're bringing tons and tons of joy to millions and millions of people. And you know what? Because you're not working there, some other guy's got a good job now.
There you go. And I'm just giving back to the people of Iowa. Look at
that. I mean, how do you not? How does that look? Everybody love Mr. PEC-Tacular. He is a man of the people.
That's what I'm saying. Like, bring on the Iowa State Fair and the Iowa Caucus. I'll eat that corn dog double dip, deep fat fried chocolate Oreo or whatever it is, and just kiss babies. Like,
well, tell Al, tell Al that 2024 you may be president by that. Who knows?
Who knows? Mr. PEC-Tacular for president. Primetime PEC-Tacular Prez. Who knows? There's just so many things. I'm sure we can.
If you need a VP that can spell their name with their hands, I'm always there for you.
Perfect. I do need somebody. Actually, I do need somebody. Okay, that's hilarious. Okay.
Well, like I said, you've been an awesome guest. I all my notes. I went through all my notes. You got all my notes. I mean, I can sit here for 20 minutes and say how beautiful you are, but you've already heard that before.
No worries. I mean, it never gets old, so you can definitely.
Okay, fair enough. But like I said, I want to real quickly. Like I said, everybody check out the Netflix doc series, Wrestlers. Great show. Like I said, and like to your point, you don't have to love wrestling to fall in love with it. It's a story about humans and human nature and how they overcome. And I love that. And if you have any words, feel free. This is the time. Let everybody know why they should watch it. Besides yourself.
Yes, exactly that. Like these individuals on Wrestlers, like the colleagues that I have, they haven't given up on their dreams, and just that in and of itself is a beautiful thing. Like people are sacrificing a lot to continue to keep this dream alive, and whether it's financially, whether it's relationship struggles, whether it's just life coming at you, because even when you're down, like life's going to continue to kick you in the teeth. And there's different lines in there just that resonate so well. Please just check out that one episode. And if you don't like it, I will give you a free ticket to potentially punch me in the face. I mean, I'll give you the ticket. And then we'll go from there. But I really have to believe that you actually didn't genuinely like it, because it's just, I don't think so. We're batting 1,000 here. Like Rotten Tomatoes, like 100 out of 100 for a while there. But if you want to continue piggybacking off of obviously that product and all those individuals, those characters and those personalities, check us out on OVW. Yes. We're on Fight every Thursday at 7. That's Eastern time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We have a pay-per-view October 21st. No Rest for the Wicked. It's beautiful. That's on the 21st. People, like, there's plenty of times where you can actually check us out. And then I believe, and this is actually like news within the last couple of days, we're actually having a national tour in 2024. Yes.
Come to Ohio.
Yes.
Al Snow, come to Ohio, please. He's from Ohio. Al Snow is from Ohio.
Exactly. You get it. This is family-oriented, just fun for this is a circus. This is the fair coming to your town potentially. You just got to reach out. I believe there's a it's like info at or the OVWwrestling.com. Go on there, request us, shoot an email to these guys, and I believe we'll be able to try and work something out. Not to like continue, toot my own horn, but I might have hosted a show called Whacked Out and might be coming out.
You did.
Yes.
You did.
Yeah. One little note that you
my handwriting's really bad. My handwriting's very bad.
There. It was right there. And as you can tell, the man himself, Mr. PEC-Tacular, is a sponsored Muscle Tech athlete. These gains aren't just all me. I did have a little supplementation help. These guys are phenomenal. And what's crazy is when I first started in my fitness career, years ago, many, many moons ago. Yes, we already talked about that back when my railroad days, back when there was magazines on the racks in Barnes and Noble. Back when there was still malls. I don't know if there's any malls.
I'm 43 years old, so I do remember malls.
All right, so you remember malls. You remember when they had stores in the malls?
There was actually transactions going on.
Exactly. Yeah, before it came, every town having a desert inside their mall, and it just being desolate and just no business. There were actual news racks with magazines like Muscular Development and just Men's Fitness and Muscle and Fitness and all these magazines, and like Muscle Tech was the biggest supplement company, still is. This is an international brand that I looked up to literally when I first started, and I'm so proud, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, so proud to work with Muscle Tech in real time, in present day, with the results that I've gotten. Obviously they speak for themselves. Again, you know how many times around the sun I've actually had.
I do, and that's not up for me to say. I don't want the Adonis crap put on me, so I'm not saying your age. You're 25 in my book.
Yes, exactly. 25 with 4 babies. Think of it that way. On that. No, and I'm over the moon of it. Like, I'm still taking pre-workout, so do the math on that. For whatever reason, I think it's because it's so good. And there's just to get into it, not to get into it too much, but there's paraxanthine inside their pre-workout, and that pre-workout is like, you know how people consume caffeine, obviously, just on the daily. Yes, an exorbitant amount. Well, there's no crash with the euphoric, and then there's burn IQ as well. And it's just an innovator when it comes to supplementation for a global just icon. It's of Muscle Tech.
And you are a global icon, and you're partnered with a company that promotes global iconism. So
exactly. So try it, check it out. Like, they're known more so for obviously all their proteins, which I love too. They have isos or isolates or isos, but the pre-workout right now, they have burn IQ, and I swear by it. End of story. Try it, test it. Again, it's just the one. Like, everybody already takes them and they consume all these other, like, unfortunately garbage, like pre-workout, but also just like by the bottle. You know, everybody goes and gets whatever, Monsters and Red Bulls and all this stuff. And it really is scary if you do any kind of due diligence into those products. And my body has been a temple since a very young age.
Show the temple.
So anybody that's, listening that, has the wherewithal to check out what's actually in those products, just do your own due diligence. Don't take their word for it. If you go into a gas station, the healthiest thing inside there's probably the carton of eggs that are hard boiled and some peanuts, to be honest with you. Other than that, like, try to stay away from a lot of those energy drinks. Take stuff that you can depend on. I'm telling you, Muscle Tech. I promise you. Otherwise, it's ovwinformation@gmail.com. I remember that now. ovwinformation@gmail.com. And that's where you can actually put in the request for 2024 to have us, the entire roster of OVW, come to your town. I mean, they're actually, I don't know. We might be going international too, maybe, if there's enough requests.
Okay, all right.
Netflix is around the world, people. Around the world. I get off a plane and it's like babies from all walks of life. Every continent, country, doesn't matter where we're at. You know this.
It's spectacular, PEC-Tacular time. That's what it is.
Yes. And as I was saying, might be a book that I'm writing currently right now.
Do I get a chapter?
We can work on it.
Okay. I just a little something.
Right at the end. Right.
Yeah. I just need 2 words or 2 letters,
Yes, exactly. Ed. And then you'll just, wherever the ED, maybe it's at the end of the word and I can just reference it inside the book.
Right.
Like, hey, Ed, you were in there.
Like I always say, I love me some me. I think everybody should. I do like the message that you give, because you know what I'm saying? You're a positive person, but positivity through fitness and what you're doing is the way to go, and being happy with what you do. And obviously it looks like you're excited with your life and you got big things popping right now. And I'm excited for you. You know what? When I did a little homework, I saw your clips. I saw a couple interviews that you did. I knew you were a down to earth guy. I didn't know how down to earth you are until this experience right now. I mean, you're like just a regular dude, and I love it. I think it's great. I think the product that you have at OVW, I think, like I said, check it out, people, because these are real people doing real things. It's great storylines. And I think everybody should check it out, because you guys will be that third alternative to the AEW and WWE. I truly believe that. And I have one request for you, just one request. because I want to take a picture right now and then put it on Twitter. If you could make the Ed sign with me, all you have to do is take your right hand and make it like a West Side, and you turn it to an E, and then you take your left and you make a D. If you could do that, there it is. Yeah, there it is.
Figure out
there it is. There it is.
Oh, you already got it.
I got it. I got my shot.
You already got it. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. Oh my God. Thank you, sir. It's much prettier when you do it. It's much better when you do it. I may just Photoshop your face on me and say it's me.
Then you got to put the hat on.
Yeah. Well, I'm celebrating my brownies today, like I said, and big win. But I want to thank Jessie Godderz. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Spectacular, the star of Netflix docuseries Wrestlers, OVW, the champion. Say that it's the heavyweight champion, the best, the two-time champion, whatever you want to say. It's all good because he's here. He was here. Thank you, sir. I can't say enough about you. You're welcome to come on anytime. Obviously, and like I said, we'll be checking you out. I will put in a formal request. I want you guys in the state of Ohio, the Buckeye State. We deserve to have you guys, and we'll show you a good time when you're here.
Perfect. I would expect nothing less. Thank you for having me sincerely. The face of OVW, your OVW National Heavyweight Champion.
National Heavyweight Champion. See? All right. Jessie, thank you for coming out. You know, I don't want my wife to see this. She'll be like, why aren't your arms like that? So you knock that off. Knock that off now.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. And congratulations and continued success.
You got it, man. Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye. Drew.
What's up?
I saw you. Okay, my bad. I apologize. I saw you in there. Here's what happened. I had problems with my Wi-Fi. I actually lost connection for a little bit, and then I saw you down there. I was afraid to even touch the screen because I was afraid I was going to lose them for the second time.
Yeah, you're good.
And everybody out there, I want to thank everybody out there. I see you, Sean, and everything. I saw your comments and everything. So I tried to incorporate everything. I know I'm going to get hammered and people, why didn't you ask this question? Why didn't you ask this question? I apologize. I tried to do my best, but I thought it was such a great interview with Jessie Godderz, and I thank him for coming on. That was good stuff right there.
That was good.
Drew, what did you think? What did you think about the interview? I want first take reaction from Drew here.
As a non-wrestling fan, he made me interested to check out what they have going on.
Wow. See?
You know, because it's one of those things where, like, I used to watch it, then I kind of fell off. Now I'm so ingrained in, like, the stuff I do watch. You know, like, hockey's on almost every day, basketball's on almost every day. Like, I'm in what I'm in.
Yep.
But I did get tickets to when the WWE did a show in Cleveland, like after they remodeled the field house down here. They gave like people who have ticket packages, like early access, cheap tickets. So we went, and it was a good time. It was like me and my buddy who's like in his 50s, and we're like, all right, this is still kind of fun to go to. But it's cool to see someone like off the TV, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I don't know that I see it that often.
Right. What did you think about, like, that was cool because I'm talking to him, and it's like he seemed to be just as excited as I was. Like, I'm always excited. You guys see me on the We Like Sportz Show Mondays 5:30 all the time, so you guys see my energy. But it was fun to see. It's like he was kind of reciprocating that, and it's so genuine. I totally appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Spectacular, for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hopefully they do come to Ohio. We could do something that'd be cool.
I would love that. Hey, maybe little backstage passes. Maybe little backstage passes. Hey,
there you go. That would be dope. Actually, that'd be like super cool. But it would be cool, to just see, like, maybe like in the future.
Yeah.
Have him back, like, after this develops into like what they want it to develop into.
Oh, absolutely. When they're blowing up even more. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, that was. I'll be honest with you guys. I was nervous. Peyton Vince said Mr. Spectacular was coming on. I did my homework, and I didn't. I'll be honest with you. I knew who he was. I watched Big Brother. I knew who he was, but I'll be honest. I didn't realize how big of a star he is. That guy's done it all. So shout out to the We Like Sportz Show and Peyton Vince for booking that one. That one was A1. That was a hit right there. So
yeah, Peyton finally did something good for once.
But That's fun. So let's get into, now we got you here. So let's get into some some sports, other sports besides wrestling, which, I love that. But there were some things that happened in the National Football League yesterday. My Cleveland Browns. I want to talk, but first, let's do this. Let's talk about. I watched the whole game last night, Sunday Night Football. I watched the Buffalo Bills and the New York Giants, and I will say one thing: you guys got screwed. That last play the play was pass interference, and you should have had another untimed down. And I know you're a big Giants fan, so what's your take on that?
Yeah, we probably would have blown it anyways.
Probably.
We would have gotten the other play. We probably would have gotten the other play, and then done something stupid. I mean, it was a bad play call, anyways.
You should have ran it with Saquon.
If they get the pass interference, they're getting rewarded for a bad play call.
Yep.
I think the actual worst calls were the roughing the passer call in the first half. That was Josh Allen had the ball when he got touched.
Yep.
And he got tapped in the chest. I don't know. It was 3rd and 25. And the Bills had the ball on the 15. I mean, that's a huge play, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's a bigger play. And then the Giants screwed themselves at the last play of the first half, which is the dumbest play I have ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know what
or Tyrod.
He was
he's in the huddle was like, let's not.
Whose fault was that? Whose fault was that? Because you saw the coach yelling at him. Whose fault was it?
So what I think happened, and I think the announcers had this right too, is they probably had 2 option plays
and he picked
that were available. And the first call was probably a pass play.
Yeah.
And I think Tyrod checked out of it.
And then he went to the
But the problem is the way he signaled, I don't know if he yelled anything too, but it was an arm signal. So I'm not even sure the offensive line knew what the play call was. Because when Saquon gets that ball, there's 2 guys in that hole. I mean, whatever happened, there's definitely a miscommunication. But you have 13 seconds left. So you have a shot to score. But if it doesn't work, you also have a shot to get points on the board. So ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the dumbest play call they possibly could have had. Yeah, it was a tap on the helmet, Sean. So the offensive line doesn't see that.
Right.
So I don't know why they do that, but ultimately those points may have cost the game. I mean, it's hard to say, hey, they score at the end of that half, they definitely win the game because they have 2 more points. I don't buy into that because the whole game plan changes for Buffalo too.
Yeah.
I think the Giants let it slip away. I think that was their chance to maybe reclaim part of their season. I don't think 2 and 4.
Now they're 1 and 5.
1 and 5. I'd love to see what the actual percentage they have to get into the playoffs is.
0.
I don't know that it's actually 0.
It might be close to 0.
They're now 3 games out of first place in their division, or 4 games out of first place in their division. No, it's 3 because the Eagles they lost. The Cowboys tonight, you see what happens. There's still a lot of season left. There's still 12 games left. Being down this far is not good. They have no shot at a wild card. They'd have to basically sweep the division.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what, though. Didn't they look better with Tyrod than they did Danny Dimes?
I don't know if that's why they looked better, though.
Okay, fair enough.
He threw for 200 yards. It's not like
it just seemed like they were great
throws on the sidelines, absolute dimes that he threw on the sidelines to Darius Slayton. I mean, he threw 2 of them, and I haven't seen that out of Daniel Jones yet this year.
Right.
But then again, line didn't look horrible yesterday.
No, it didn't. You're right. You're right.
I felt like Tyrod Taylor actually had time to read the field, which I don't think Daniel Jones has had all season. So I don't know. I think Tyrod Taylor has that veteran presence. I mean, he's obviously a good quarterback. He's been in the league for a long time. He knows how to manage a game. I think that thing at the end of the first half, it was a bonehead call by him. So thing is, Tyrod Taylor, now that the Giants played well against the team that played bad, people are going to say, oh my God, didn't they look so much better? But the offensive line looked better. The defense looked better. They had Saquon back, who had 90-something rushing yards. Those things changed the dynamic in the game so much that if you put Daniel Jones in that situation, does he also play well?
Right.
Probably. And he's a better runner. I mean, Tyrod broke off like four runs, I think, for like 25 yards.
Yeah.
If Daniel Jones is in, are those 4 runs for 40 yards? I don't know.
Right.
So we'll see. I'm disappointed with how they've been in the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how they came out. They actually played tough. I think they squandered the opportunity.
Yeah, I agree. But I'll tell you one thing.
Unlike your Browns.
Yeah, we'll get into them, but I do want to give our sponsors, because right before we had Mr. PEC-Tacular on, I was doing a little housekeeping and wanted to get the sponsor, but I'm going to give them the respect that they deserve, and because they're one of our new sponsors, and I'm going to redo the ad again so Peyton Vince doesn't get mad at me. But it is Dubby time. You want an energy drink that you can mix at home that doesn't give you the jitters or make you crash? If so, then try Dubby. Their products have no calories, no sugar, no maltodextrin. Don't know what that is, but I know it's a good thing they don't have it. No fillers and no artificial colors. Dubby has great flavors such as Dragonade, Galaxy Grenade, Beach and Peach, and Dub Sludge. Get that Dub Sludge. Get that Dub right there. So head on over to w.gg and use the coupon code We Like Sportz to get 10% off your order. So you want to do that. Also, shout out to our friends over at Official League. They got cool hats like this that Peyton sent me. Cool hats over at Official League. Also, don't forget to check out the Snooze You Lose podcast with Uncle Joe the Black Bookie. He'll get you set on your Sunday with your Snooze You Lose pick of the week. Who doesn't want to add more coin to their purse? I mean, I know I could use some, and especially with some of my picks lately. So head on over there. Uncle Joe the Black Bookie, he'll get you set up. And also, if you want tight nutrition, looking for a good protein product, then head on over to Tight Nutrition /We Like Sportz. They'll get you hooked up, because who doesn't want good nutrition and good protein products? So did the housekeeping. I had to redo that, reset that. We had Mr. PEC-Tacular on, and I saw that he had showed up, and I'm like, oh, I kind of got a little nervous because, I'd been doing my homework, and this guy who's on Young and the Restless, Price is Right. I mean, he's OVW wrestler. I mean, he's a pretty big deal. And, Ed in Columbus, I think I'm a pretty big deal. I know the people in my house, well, they don't exactly think that, but I like to think
We do, Ed. We think you're a big
deal.
Fair
enough. I totally appreciate that. But also, too, I'm going to get a picture of that one. You know what? I tell you what, Mr. PEC-Tacular, he's got those big arms and the big pecs. I think he did a little better with the Ed sign than he did. Shh, don't tell anybody. You don't want to tell anybody. But I'll tell you what, though, I'm starting to hear that. Do you hear that, Drew? Do you hear that?
I do. I think I hear a little something. What am I hearing?
I think it's time for breaking news. That's right. This is Ed in Columbus with your We Like Sportz. Breaking news. USC quarterback Caleb Williams lost the Heisman Trophy in South Bend this past Saturday, throwing 3 picks. Also lost was his Trojans defense, but it's been missing for 2 seasons. Social media star and influencer Logan Paul won his boxing match against Dylan Dennis, but the real winners were the ones that didn't even know the fight was scheduled. And finally, the Cleveland Browns defeated the San Francisco 49ers 19-17 in a game in which they were 9.5-point dogs at home. Remember, you can't spell miracle without CLE. Go Browns. This is Ed in Columbus with your We Like Sportz. Breaking news. I had to be a homer on that one. I had to.
You have to. You know
what? Hey, it's one thing. It's not like the Browns played, a crap team and won. They played the San Francisco 49ers, arguably the best team in football. And I'm not going to say, look, if they played 10 times, what the outcomes would be probably. Yeah. But, hey, they played once. We got the win. We're moving on.
Yeah. Gave Brock Purdy his first loss as a starter in the regular season.
You know what? I'll tell you what. You know what it reminded me of? When they lost Christian McCaffrey, and it reminded me of the Bengals game. When the Browns can make a team one-dimensional and make that team have to throw, their defense looks even better than what it is, because they don't have to worry about the run. But I'm telling you, Purdy looked just as bad as Burrow did in week 1, and Purdy didn't have a bad calf.
No, Purdy, it looked like the elements got to him. I mean,
I think so.
There's a couple times where he just dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Straight up lost the ball.
Yeah.
Which you haven't seen.
Yeah, he went like that. The ball went.
The ball just fell out of his hand.
He's like, you see his face like, oh shit.
And when McCaffrey went down, which they're saying it could be a rib injury too.
Oh, he's on my fantasy team.
Hey, I'm just telling you what I read, because the Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown bet has been the lock every single week he's ever played. But when Debo is out too, their offense, as high-powered as it is, they just don't have the threats. So Debo Samuel's out and Christian McCaffrey, both of those guys can run and catch, right? So now they're down to Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle. It gives the Browns pass rush. Like, they know they have to pass.
Yeah.
And you don't want the Browns defensive line to have their ears back going 100 miles an hour at the quarterback. It's not a recipe for success.
No, it's definitely not. And that's wow. I'm like I said, I just think that Browns defense, you make the other team one-dimensional, and they're really gonna thrive in that. So like I said, here's what we'll do. We'll go around the NFL real quick, and I'll name some games here real quick. And I will say one thing. Last week we did this NFL picks. I know Casey and Keith aren't here. It's funny. So here's what happened. So we made these picks last week, okay? And I got 9 points, so I got 9 games right. Keith got 9 right, and Casey got 9 right. We're all tied right now. Okay,
wow.
All tied. And it comes down to the Monday night game tonight between the Dallas at the Chargers. Now, I picked the Chargers. Keith and Casey picked Dallas, so this will be the game that decides it. So we'll let everybody know next week who wins it. And if I win, I'm going to brag and let everybody know it, even probably people that don't care. But that's what I do.
I really hope you win, Ed.
I thank you. Hey, go Syracuse, right? Go Syracuse.
Right, go Qs. And we hate them Cowboys.
And we do. That's absolutely right. So I'm just going to pick a few. I'm not going to go around the whole NFL, but I'm going to pick a games of interest. Now, I thought this game was interesting, obviously, because Cleveland's playing them, but Indianapolis at Jacksonville. Jacksonville kind of, won pretty big, 37-20. But, the Browns played them next week, and what I feel it could be a trap game for them because, Cleveland's coming off a big win. Indy's at home. Depending on if we get Watson back, which all indications are Tony Rizzo, ESPN Cleveland today, kind of hinted that his sources are saying that he's going to be back. And I trust Tony because he pretty much knows the Browns there. So I think he is going to be back. So I'm not as worried about it being a trap game there. But, they got Taylor back. I mean, Indianapolis, they got Minshew, who's a veteran quarterback. So that's why I'm kind of highlighting this game. But other than Jacksonville beating Indianapolis, don't really care, only because of the Browns connection right there.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Indianapolis? Could they trip up the Browns next week?
They could, but I haven't seen it from. I don't think their defense is good.
Okay,
I think it's pretty mediocre. It's like middle of the pack defense in the NFL. Jacksonville kind of had their way with them. Travis Etienne went off. He's good anyways, but he kind of had his way with them. The problem with the Colts, like you said, Jonathan Taylor's back, but where is he?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Zach Moss has been playing out of his mind, but you have an MVP right there. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is an absolute stud, and you just gave him a contract to keep him in Indy. Either trade him or use him. I don't get what they're doing, but all I know is it's not making the fan base happy, and it's certainly not helping the offense. Minshew's good, but he's a backup. I mean, he's never going to be a starter. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think he's going to be a full-time starter anywhere else.
Right.
Richardson's good, but we didn't really get to see much of him.
Right.
So I think it could be a trap game for the Browns if Richardson's back, because what can he do? We don't know.
Right.
The receivers are good. They're not bad. They have a good roster that could do things. They're just not.
Yeah. Well, Sean talks about Bart came in 2 big runs in the fourth. Yeah, because I'd mentioned that they should have gave it to Saquon or whatever like that.
Yeah.
But
he got better as the game went on. I think the rust was kind of falling off.
Yeah.
I think his first 12 carries, he had 12 yards.
Yeah. He looked better in the second half. He was running hard. He was looking good. Another game of interest because I'm not being a Baker hater, so don't come after me. But no, I'm going to give props to the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff throwing for like 350 yards. And Jamison Williams comes back, gets a 45-yard touchdown pass. Lions for real, Drew?
They are for real.
Okay.
They're top of their division. So you are as good as your record. They have the best record in their division.
They have the best record in the National Football League. Don't they have 5-1?
They're tied for it with the
San
Eagles.
Francisco and
Francisco. Yeah. So I mean, how can you say they're not for real? They have a good running game. David Montgomery's been good.
Yeah.
They have good receivers. Their quarterback play, Jared Goff's been playing good. Their defense has been pretty solid. I don't know really a weak point in them. So let's see how far they roll.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Good coaching goes a long way.
I'm I say this all the time. I'm happy for my Detroit Lions friends because just like being a Cleveland Browns now, they've had a hard knock football life. I get that. But then a little bit of me, if they go to the Super Bowl before the Browns do, I swear to God, Drew, I'm gonna do some bad things here.
Yeah. It's one of those things where the Browns are gonna Browns. Every time there's hype, they end up at 9-8 or 10-7.
Yeah.
I feel like Detroit's already most of the way there. I mean, 5-1, it's hard to have a complete collapse.
Yeah.
But is Detroit gonna Detroit? Are the Lions gonna lion?
Well,
I don't know.
Are you lying to me? Are you lying?
Right. Are they lying to us? I don't know. But we'll see.
Okay. Well, you know what? I know another game I wanted to get into because I was watching it. My father-in-law came up from Florida, and we had senior night and everything with my daughter who's a senior. So we watched the game. Like I said, we watched the Bills-Giants game last night. But then before that, we caught the end of the Jets-Eagles game. And I tell you, I know you're happy because you're obviously a Giants fan. So watching the Eagles lose is always going to be near and dear to your heart. But watching the interception at the end and taking it back, what Jalen Hurts, he hurt his team yesterday, 3 interceptions. This Eagles team, that Jets defense, they look for real. They remind me, the Jets, they remind me of a team obviously, if they had, too bad they don't have Aaron Rodgers, but I said this at the beginning of the year. They remind me a lot of the Browns, a very dominant defense. And this is obviously before Aaron Rodgers got hurt. They remind me of the Browns. Now we'll see what Zach Wilson can do because I do think he's getting better. Not to the where they need him to be. But
he's coming into his own. I think he's realizing what his limits are, which is the key for a non-superstar. Knowing what your limits are, knowing what throws you can make and which ones you can't. Yeah. He's utilizing Garrett Wilson a lot more, which I think is smart.
Throw it to your best guy, right? That helps, right?
I think he's learning that, and Breece Hall has been good throughout the year. Their defense, they just did that to the Eagles without their best 2 corners.
Yeah.
Sauce Gardner wasn't there. I mean, that game could have been uglier for Philly if the Jets have their full defense. But I think the Eagles, and this is not my I hate the Eagles side of things. I actually think they're the worst 5-1 team in the NFL right now. I think the Niners are more legit than them, and I think the Lions are. I think both of them are more complete. I don't think the Eagles really have the offense that they should have on paper.
I'm glad you said that because everybody's the Eagles. I agree with that. And, and looking back at the 49ers, I didn't realize when Deebo Samuel went down, obviously losing Christian McCaffrey, but I didn't realize when he went down that their offense was going to be so stagnant after that. He really does. He really is the catalyst to that team. And looking at the Eagles, to your point, I thought the Eagles had more weapons and could handle, but maybe the Jets defense is just that good. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think Jalen Hurts has looked good all year. I mean, he got really bailed out with that really good DeAndre Swift game. I mean, DeAndre Swift went absolutely off and won them a game. A.J. Brown has made some outstanding catches on passes that weren't really that great. I don't think Devontae Smith has been Devontae Smith yet this year.
No,
I think he's kind of been non-existent. But what else do they have? I mean, Dallas Goedert's been the most consistent part of that offense. I think it's mostly because Jalen Hurts hasn't been able to make the throws. I mean, the tight end is only that good because
that's right.
He's not. A.J. Brown's the best player on that team. Consistently, he's the best receiver. But the Jets shut him down with backup corners. So it's either Jalen Hurts or the defense.
I know. Okay. So, I totally agree with everything you just said there because I like I said, I was kind of baffled by the Eagles offense and, why the game was even as close as it was. But I mean, that's the NFL for you. Look at the 49ers. Who would have thought that they would have had such trouble against the Browns? I mean, because the one thing, it wasn't that the Browns defense wasn't good. It's just, here's the one key stat that shout out to Keith, our other co-host. He had some things tonight, couldn't be here, but I was on his show, Locked On Sports 216. And we talked about this. And I asked him this question. Against the Ravens, the Browns never had the ball and their defense got tired. The Browns actually won the time of possession battle at 33 minutes yesterday. And I thought that was the key right there.
Yeah, they did a really good job of just maintaining possession, like longer drives. I thought they used Jerome Ford pretty well. I thought he was underutilized last week, but I think this week they actually used him. And he's a serviceable running back. I think the Browns, once Nick Chubb went down, I think people were like, "Oh, the running game is gone." I don't think it is. I think Jerome Ford is fine.
And I say that there were people, and I when I watched the game, I thought he was fine. He actually got better in the second half and got stronger. But there are a lot of people, like I was listening to the Really Big Show today, and a lot of people were kind of like down on him and thinking that, maybe get Pierre Strong and maybe another look. But I thought Kareem Hunt ran hard. I thought Jerome Ford ran hard. I didn't have honestly, I thought the offensive line played better.
Yeah,
I did not have a problem with the Browns running game yesterday. I did not have a problem with it.
No, and they're against one of the best run defenses in the NFL.
Yeah.
San Francisco's defense did not play bad.
I agree. Exactly.
Like I think this whole game came down to which offense was less stagnant.
Yeah, that's a great point.
The 49ers offense was inept at best once they lost McCaffrey.
He might be. And I do want to see some Pierre Strong Jr. I want to see him in there, Sean. I do.
Until he goes in a game and has 7 carries for 12 yards, right? Like, you don't know he's the better back until he actually gets.
Well, Drew, everybody, the backup quarterback's better. The backup run, everybody is better.
Put DTR in. We hate Deshaun Watson. Put DTR in. And then he plays, and it's, oh my God.
Oh my God.
He's not ready to be an NFL quarterback. Right. And then now PJ Walker, he actually gets a win. And I've seen people that are like, oh my God, we should just keep PJ in. We win with PJ. It's like, all right, calm down. Right. Like, it's the same thing. Like, Pierre Strong may be the better back, but until he gets like a game as the workhorse, there's no way you'll know, because it's not like he jumped into like a Bijan Robinson situation where he jumps in the NFL and he's immediately the best guy on the field. There's very few of him out there, so we'll see. College numbers don't matter. Ask Jamarcus Russell if college numbers matter. Ask Reggie Bush if college numbers matter. There's plenty of guys that were great in college who ended up being meh. Ryan Leaf. Ask Ryan Leaf how his college numbers did him. Until you see actual NFL reps against NFL defenses, your college numbers don't matter.
Drew, you're bringing the draft pick analysis there. There you go.
They get you the draft pick, but then you have to do what you will with it, right? Tom Brady was not a good college quarterback.
No, he was not.
That's why he got drafted as late as he did. So college numbers may show you stuff, but really looking at on film, if you're getting good numbers because you're the fastest guy in college, everyone in the NFL was the fastest guy in college.
Drew, I want to appreciate you for hanging on, because I saw your thing and everything. I think we got about 5 minutes left, about 4 minutes left. I want you to talk about whatever you want to talk about. If you want to talk about NHL, go ahead. You want to talk about college football? You want to talk about anything you want? This is Drew. This is Drew's. You know what? I think you deserve it. I think you deserve it. I think you deserve it. I'm going to actually make a banner, because I'm getting technical.
I get my own banner.
You're gonna get your own banner.
We're getting legit here.
And Drew's. Oh, your name right. Drew.
It's only 4 letters. Yeah, like most of my favorite words.
Yeah. Drew's. What's this? Drew's time to shine right here.
There we go. Well, you said the NHL. I was in your neck of the woods on Saturday. Caught the Rangers get their ass kicked by Columbus. I saw that. And I messaged my buddy. I said, don't worry. You'll see us in the playoffs, probably from your couch, but you'll still see us.
You guys still got Panarin.
We do. And he got booed every time he touched the puck, which, by the way, is a horrible way to treat someone who had no say in leaving your organization.
Yeah, he didn't sign the contract. What do you mean he didn't have any say? He said he wasn't going to resign.
Make him a good offer. Make him a good offer.
He didn't want to be here. They tried. We believe me. On 97.1 The Fan, there were many days and many days of people. He didn't want to be here. Well, I mean,
yeah, that's also fair. I mean, I would rather play in New York than Columbus. If I'm a star, I can make more money in like 5 advertisements than I can in my salary.
Can I ask you a question, Drew? Is it Ed in Columbus or Ed in New York?
Ed in Columbus.
Where do you want to be then? Do you want to be with Stars? Do you want to be with Stars?
Look, I went to Columbus to watch a New York team. So I chose Columbus, right?
Well, you chose right. You chose correct.
My hard-earned money in your city, giving you all my all those extra tax dollars.
Well, I appreciate that.
Taxes on alcohol, you definitely got a lot.
Oh, you made okay.
So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
So there you go. But yeah, I'm happy hockey's back. The Cleveland Monsters.
Nice.
Their home opener is this weekend, so we're pumped
you going?
for that. I'm going. I will be there. I have season tickets there, so
okay.
Actually, we've got a little something in the works for me to be covering some of those games for us. We'll see if the We Like Sportz fandom cares about AHL hockey at all.
I do. So
well, there you go. But yeah, hockey season's starting. Basketball season's about to get underway. The boring time in sports of like midsummer where only baseball is on is over.
It's
not
over.
that I don't love baseball, but only baseball gets old after a while for me. Now I have football on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Thursday. And then I've got hockey to fill in whatever days of the week that is, and the occasional good NBA game. Sports are looking good right now. I'm pretty pumped. I'm not really sure how I feel about any of my New York teams right now. Losing to Columbus, barely losing to Buffalo. It was a depressing weekend to be. And Syracuse got blown out 41-3. So we had a rough weekend, Ed, but now I get to spend Monday with you.
Does Columbus beat Detroit tonight? The Red Wings are at Columbus. Do we win tonight, Columbus?
If they play like they played against the Rangers, yes.
Okay.
If they play like they played game 1, no. I mean, hockey's hard because 2 games into the season, right?
Yeah. Are the Red Wings going to be good this year or no? Because they haven't been as good lately. They've not been as good.
I think they'll fight. They may be in contention for a wild card spot.
Wow.
I don't think they win their division. I think they may be in the conversation, like towards the All-Star break of like, they're surprising us that they're good.
Okay.
But if they meet expectations, they won't make the playoffs.
That's music to my ears.
I mean, look, I'm no Red Wings fan.
Sure.
I appreciate how good the Red Wings have been in history and some of the teams they've had that are just awesome to watch and talk about.
So is Mark Messier a god to you?
Ed, just because you mentioned that, I don't know how to flip my camera.
Yeah.
I don't know how to flip my camera here, so I'm just going to do it this way.
Fair enough.
Can you see him? Can you see him?
Oh, the cup, the 1994 reverse the curse. Beat Vancouver Canucks in 7 games.
I've got the autographed Stanley Cup champion photo hanging in my.
I'll be honest with you guys. I when 94, obviously the Knicks made the finals and lost to Houston, but I was the biggest Rangers fan. I'm all for and Curtis, and obviously anytime an American team is playing, no offense to our Canadian counterparts. I love you guys. But I'm gonna root. I'm sorry. I would expect them to root for Canada over. I get that. I totally get that.
Right.
Watching the Rangers win in 94. That 7th game, I was a little. I know they won it 3-2, but I was like, please get this done, because if they would have lost that game, that'd have been hard. That probably would have been the biggest heartbreak in New York sports history if they would have lost.
Would have been up there, because it's one of those things where like people don't think about hockey. Like when you think about the major sports, right? You talk about parades and all this other stuff. Like New York actually cares about the Rangers. I know there's Islanders fans, but there's like something about the Rangers like fandom in New York that is so wild. For it
like they listen to his wife and he wanted to go to New York.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, if his wife wanted to go to New York, that's where he should go. And yeah, I saw the comment a couple seconds ago that ESPN is promoting the NHL. I don't actually believe them actually promoting the NHL. They did at the beginning of last season too, saying like, "Hey, ESPN Plus is going to cover all these games and stuff." I was during the NHL finals. If you went to just ESPN.com, who happens to have like this whole package to show the games, NHL was buried behind like 4 other sports. Playoffs. You couldn't even find like an actual good article covering the postseason unless you scroll by the WNBA, like some other stuff. Like it was so buried on their site that their TV commercials say they show it, but you're already watching it. Yeah. So we'll see. The Monsters did win on Saturday. Yeah. We'll see if they win.
Well, I just want to say this because I remember ESPN coverage back in the day. And shout out to Barry Melrose. I know he's going
Barry Melrose, the mullet.
Yeah, I think he's got cancer. He's got something going on. So shout out to him.
Don Cherry were like the
Don Cherry, best hockey night in Canada, or whatever.
Hockey night in Canada. He was the man.
Yeah.
He got canceled.
Oops.
But that was like the heyday of watching hockey back in the day. But it's
the best video game wasn't the best video game like NHL '94 or something like that.
NHL '94.
I know my hockey. Hey, I know. Hey, Drew, are you surprised? Are you surprised at my hockey knowledge?
Actually, I'm like I had a feeling you secretly had a bunch of hockey knowledge there.
I do.
You just haven't been allowed to release it.
That's why. This is why it's your time to shine. But you're shining so much, Drew. It's illuminating off of me, and it's like this is great. This is great.
Look good. Podcast good.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Pray for Barry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Barry Melrose was the man. I always like forget about him until I start talking about like watching it back in like the early 2000s, mid 2000s.
I rooted for Barry when he was the coach of the LA Kings, who lost with Wayne Gretzky 4-1 to the Canadiens in the NHL finals.
That's right.
Did you? I see this knowledge. It's spewing off.
Don't lose to Canadian teams.
Yeah, don't lose.
We don't like Canadian teams. I mean, they're fine during the season.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad the Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
Out of the first round, but I'm also glad they lost immediately after. Like in horrible fashion.
1964 their last or 67 their last title.
Yeah.
I think 67.
I think 67 is right. Yeah.
67. See? Look at that. Boom, look at that.
Yeah. You're good, man. It's steel trap up there.
Yeah, it's something. I don't know. My wife would probably disagree or call it something else, but that's another story.
I also hope that you win tonight. I hope you get your 10th win tonight.
Thank you.
Because we don't want to see the Cowboys win.
No.
If the Giants have to lose, everyone else in the division has to lose. That's the rule.
Fair enough.
But yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
It's going to be an interesting week for just sports in general.
I agree. But Drew, I want to say that, you know what? This was the latest and greatest We Like Sportz show. I'm glad you came on. I always love talking. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to incorporate more hockey, and I hope you join us every week.
Anytime. I have more. I'll be here on more Mondays now.
Okay. Well, audience, check us out.
Check us out. Wrapping up. So, nice. Like I said, when I texted you, like wrestling is not my bag. So, I really probably wouldn't have had much to say.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I saw you, and I felt bad. I'm like, I had some technical difficulties. I'm like, I'm afraid to even look at this thing.
But to be honest, like I hadn't seen much of it, so it would have been one of those like what you did would like to convince us why we should be interested. So that was basically for me, and I was sitting here listening to it. So we're all good.
Okay. I could sell an NHL franchise to Mexico City, right?
You could do it.
Okay.
Maybe Ryan Reynolds will buy that one because wasn't he supposed to buy Ottawa?
Yes. Yeah. There you go. But
like a Wrexham.
Oh yeah.
Like special, but it'll be the Mexico City. Whatever you name your team.
The ice dirts or dirt ice or something or mud ice or something.
Go with like Aztecs.
The Adobe the Adobe Ice.
Adobe Ice.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Adobe Acrobat Reader Pros.
Yeah. Oh. got to make sure you have that
sponsorship money.
Yeah, I got to make sure you have that downloaded if you want your PDF. So everybody check that out. So, but I want to thank.
Sponsored.
Yes, Drew. Anything before we go? Last words.
That's it.
All right. Well,
we're good.
Hey, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank our spectacular Mr. PEC-Tacular for coming on. Like I said, check out the Netflix docuseries, Wrestlers. He was great. And I want to thank my guest, Drew, no, my host, Drew. What am I talking about? I'm just so used to saying guest. I was so nervous when he was on. I'm saying I got my words up, but yes, my host Drew, and my guy right there, my hockey guy. What would you? If I'm the center, do you want to be on my right or my left side?
I'm right-handed, so the left side.
Okay. Well, then I'm gonna be Adam Fantilli, and you can be Johnny Goudreau.
Oh, there you go. All right, I'd be Johnny Goudreau.
Johnny Hockey. Drew's my guy. But I want to thank everybody in the We Like Sportz Nation for watching us. Tune in next Monday at 5:30. I'll be back. Drew will be back. I'm sure Keith will be back. Casey will be back. We'll all be back. And everybody have a great week. Enjoy your sports. Enjoy each other. And have a good one. Peace.